How do you stop serious tilt? I love competitive games, but I break shit a lot, so you have to stop playing competitive games often, which leaves me with no games to play. Every time you try to go into a game with the intention of not tilting, it doesn't matter. It's like everything's turned red and you explode. Okay, do you want to know what the secret is? I'll tell you what the secret is if you want to know it. If you really want to manage your tilt and make sure you don't rage during your matches, between every match that you play, you stand up for a little bit. Stand up like this. Just stand normally, like a person who stands, right? You're standing. And just stand for a bit, maybe walk around, go refill your water. Just take like 1 minute to 2 minutes between matches, and then kind of think about what you could have done better. As a player, don't really worry too much about like who on your team threw. Just figure out like, hey, is there anything I could have fixed in my play? Because other people around you, you're not responsible for their performance. Like, you're probably never going to play with them again. So you really shouldn't care how they perform. Doesn't matter. It's like the waves of the ocean. Sometimes your team is good, sometimes it's shit. That's just how it is. So for one, accept that sometimes your team's good, sometimes it's shit. And then for two, focus on what you can improve on, like what you want to work on and train to be better as a gamer. And then also do the physical exercise of between every match, take a bit, probably like a 5-minute break. 5 minutes between matches is probably good. Get up, stand around. You're mad at what you do, you're way too hard on yourself. No, everyone messes up in games. It's about having fun when you make some decent plays now and then. These games that we play are really hard, so no one really cares that much how you perform, so you can be relaxed about it too. Just have a good time. Work on some things. Take care of yourself. Self-care, I would say do preventative stuff where you're basically checking your tilt level before you start playing in a bunch of matches. When you sit down to game, would you say that you're already angry? Are you angry when you begin to game? I guess is my question. Do you start your gaming session angry? You do not. Okay, it's from the other gamers. So point one is I accept the good and bad performances of my teammates before I start. I accept that. Maybe my team just carries me and honestly is really good. Maybe my teammates are really bad. But then also you can forgive yourself ahead of time before you start to play a match. What I do is I say, I forgive myself for the mistakes I'm about to make in this match. Even if they're very embarrassing, I will bear them as part of my actions in life, and maybe people will think that it was funny. And if you go into it with that mindset of, I'm going to make some mistakes and I know it, and I forgive myself because it's a video game for fun, then as it happens, you're like, yep, those are those mistakes. Because we all have them. Even the best players in the world have mistakes in their matches, except Cyril. But everyone else... Everyone else basically needs to steward their emotions carefully. Make sure that every match you're not being led astray with your energy. Like, you don't want to be stuck on other people and aggressive toward them, and you also don't want to beat yourself up. So if you're beating yourself up, just try to write down like 2 things to remember for the match, and you don't really need to berate yourself further. Just think about funny stuff you can do in the game. Like, what do you love about the game that you're playing? Focusing on that purpose, and also gratitude for having some time to play video games, which many consider to be a privilege and an honor. Fellow gamers, I salute you. Yeah, it happens because the tension of the fight is high. Yeah, these are very high tempo games, so we do definitely get caught up in the heat of the moment. That's very true. Very true, but then accept that as a fact of the battlefield. The battlefield is stressful, and it will stress me out if I'm not prepared for it. So go into those situations accepting that they will be stressful on you and your emotions. And you can ride the waves of tilt a little better, maybe.